Hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to show you how to make this little mailbox. The last one I showed you was for Valentine's, and then when I was putting it together I thought, well, let's make it a mailbox that can stand outside. It's going to be slightly different from this one because I never stick to one thing. So let's walk through this. This is it. I'm just going to show you what how I do this because I'm giving you an SVG file, and when I have a bad mat, I don't actually just throw it away. I use it for gluing things because it still has enough tacky that I can put my pieces down there, especially to show you when I put it just on top of my other mat, they slip and slide. So I use my old mats this way and they become really, really grungy. But then to paint, I try to do this. So there are all my secrets. The other thing is that I've spoken to you about this is the tip on my glue. That's what I use these for. And even though I have my Barely Art glue is in a really nice container with a nice tip. Don't know if I showed you this before either. This is actually, I did a lot of acupuncture. I didn't do it. I had someone do it for me. And I asked one time if I could have one of these little, actually she gave me about 3 or so of my needles, which get just thrown away. And they are great for these teeny tiny holes. You see that? And they just fit in there. Sometimes it's hard to get my fingers. And then even then, I still put a little bit one of these capsules that you get at the tip of your nice brushes. You get these the little plastic that comes over them. I don't have one available right now, and I just I glue it onto the inside, and it gives you additional protection over drying the tip. And if I can just do this, there you go. But I want to use my, I was saying Weld Bond. That's not the one that I use. I use Tight Bond. I know I've said Weld Bond before. Sorry, Weld Bond, but it's Tight Bond. It's wood glue, but I use it on everything. It's actually adheres faster than the Barely Art glue, and Barely Art is so expensive. And so I'm going to just remove this tip and put in a brand new one, because they are very inexpensive, and I just got a whole bunch. And I'm going, because the tip was starting to be very, very loose, very wide. So I stick this back in there, and it's good to go. And somehow it just likes it there. And for that tip, I cannot use this one anymore because it's not wide enough. So I'll be using just a stainless, make sure it's a stainless pin. Otherwise you're going to get some, and you just put it on there. Now in the beginning, these tips will be very, very tiny. They may be a little bit too tiny. I just stick it in there as far as I could go. And provided there's no glue there, you shouldn't get any rusting. But anything to save your glue from drying up. And then I do this a lot to get the glue back in here. There you go. And you can see that it's really a nice long, it may be too long at this point, but if I want a very fine dot of glue, I love this. Anyway, that's today's handy tip. Anyway, here we are. We're going to start building this mailbox. To refresh, in case you fast forwarded, this is what we're going to build. And the file is available when you also download the other file. Both of them are on SVG. Both of them are on PDF. Don't need a lot of stuff other than what you see here, and the glue, and maybe some nice scissors. And we're going to start by, maybe I should follow my own advice, and I'm going to start by doing the scoring, or the scoring is there, right? Scored on your SVG file. So I'm just going to bend the score, or there, I mean, you could possibly, you know, you can do it without this little gizmo, but I actually like a lot of gizmos. A lot of things that make, well, supposed to make life easier, but sometimes keeping them in shape and tracking them down isn't as easy as one would want. So what did I do here? Went too far. There you go. And do that one on this side. So now you have the base. This is all the same as the other mailbox, but in case you missed it, or if you didn't miss it, you can fast forward and you'll get all the same information. So you put that aside. The next thing we should do, I'm going to glue two pieces together for, and you know, I might use my my Barely Art because it has a wider opening, and for bigger things, sometimes, yeah, there you go. What I do with the skinny one is I will cut it down to where it becomes a little bit wider. If you get too frustrated with the skinny flow of glue. And the next one, so you need, one would be the back side, one would be the front side of the mailbox. And because it is black, you're going to see all the glue, but it should dry clear. My first sample did not dry clear. It dried with all kinds of glue marks, so I actually ended up painting this with black, just plain acrylic black, and then Mod Podge, because that's what one does. We Mod Podge everything. It just makes it better. So the other thing we're going to do is, and I might do this one a little bit different. Like I say to you, I just don't do everything the same way twice. I'm gonna get my bad brush. So you have the little hole here. That will become important when you're gluing the arm. Okay, so I'm just giving it some memory. Like that. And then you're going to glue, not the part with the little hole, but the other side, because you want that little hole available. Try not to put too much. And again, the one side that does not have the hole, you'll see why that's going to become important. If you don't intend to paint this, I suggest you be careful with how you are putting in your glue, so you don't have a lot of glue everywhere. That. And then, like I say, I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Oh, I forgot my pin. And remember our pin hack. Now, if this pin is a little bit too small, you know, you can use, if the head of that pin is too small, you can use, whoopsie, you can use one that has a bigger one, a bigger top, or simply put a dot of glue on the top. It'll make it bigger, or some nail polish. So for me, I'm going to just carry on and use this little one. And again, I'm going to put it into the styrofoam, and I'm going to use this one. I said we need about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Push it right in, and I feel that it's, there you go. I believe it should be done. There it is, and don't forget it's in there, and you'll put that in a container where it will be safe. Then you're going to want, I'm just going to make a tiny little hole about there. Oops, there where you cannot see is not good. Let me see here. I'm going to do it about, oh, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch up. That, make a tiny hole. See, make a tiny hole there. And do another one. I have a, but let's do it over here again, about the same place. You need to glue these two together. There is a white edge showing because this is cardstock, foil cardstock, not all the way through. So you'll need to touch that up if it really bothers you, and it will bother me, so I will be touching it up. And then we're going to take 1, 2, and 3 of these little discs. And a pin. Putting this together. Okay, goes through there. And now it's going to go through the arm. Now the arm, doesn't matter where it faces. Okay, so now we're going to put the pin through one of the little circles. And then through the little hole at the bottom of the arm. Okay, this way. Okay, like that. It's going to go through the little hole that's there. And then we're going to find the pin on the inside. Add helping hand here. Can't see the little. There. So, and then I have to make sure that the bottom one does not swerve around. Doesn't matter how messy you are on the inside of this, because no one's going to see it. Stick this down and apply it like that, so at least you can see it, like that. Now, let's make that dry. You do need to secure the little circle down, but please remember, the glue is only going to be on a tiny, tiny bit. Let me see if I can see what I'm doing here. Tiny bit on the bottom, so that it secures only the bottom of the circle. Because if you put glue on either side or reaching the top, then your little arm will not be motion, would not have any motion. So I'm going to use a little clip here, just to make sure everybody's happy and clip down. There you go. Set that aside for a little while. And we're going to continue at this point, because I'd like to have that dried. We're going to work on the base. Now, I created this base with cardstock, and it does have folding line, but the cardstock, it's very hard for it to glue very quickly, so it's a little bit messy for my liking. And then after I created that, good old drinking straws are now paper, and I decided that why not? It's actually the same thickness that I wanted, so I cut same size from the paper. I cut the pole out of the straw. Now you can also cut it out of whatever you like. It can be one of these. This is a chopstick. Those were also chopsticks. It can be a square. If you have a little bit of a square, a little bit of square doweling. You know, it doesn't have to be round either. This one's a little oval. Here, this one's oval. It doesn't have to be round. So anyway, I'm going to work with the paper, and I'll show you what you would need to do with this one. So you have, if you are going to use this, and if you are not wanting to take the shortcut, this will bend both ways, and again, it is scored, so you can do the scoring line. Okay, and then you can do little cuts into the scoring. But for now, I think what we're going to do is use this one, which obviously is white. So I would paint that black once we're done with it. And for the base, you see we have 6 of these. We're going to glue them together. This is to give you thickness. And if you have your Cricut set up for heavier cardstock, then maybe you only need 2. Or even just 1. Give myself this so I can get about 1.5 millimeter thickness, if not less. And then do these together, all 3 together. And this one. That. Hope it dries nice and quickly. And then, and of course also the glue will give it thickness, adds to the thickness. Okay. Right, so now we have that. Now we'll go and put the medium size into the center. It's hard to see on black, sorry, but this avoids a lot of painting. I mean, you could do this whatever color you like. You could, you know, make it all silver metal kind of. So it gives you a little bit of detail for the base. There, see that? A little bit of detail. Can never do that. Not focused. Here. So you have a little bit of detail there. And then putting a lot of glue on the inside so that when it falls onto the base, it'll fall, and I'm sorry, it was totally out of frame, sorry. And you're going to put that on, because it's paper, it'll glue nicely to each other. And do I have any? There you go. There you go. I feel good about that. And then it will adhere to the bottom of the mailbox itself. So now that we've got that done, can we test for mobility? Yes, loving it. And this is all good here because it's the pin on the inside that's making it mobile. So now we're going to, a little bit different from what I did the white one, I'm going to try and put the trim on after I've shaped it and glued. So you can choose which method you might prefer. Sorry, I am, there you go. My camera. I have this really weird setup here. I haven't found a way to set up for my light and camera so that it's nice for having it set up all the time. I craft at this table and video at this table, so there you go. Okay, so there is the front and back about ready to go in. So if you want this to be called the front, or you want this to be called the back, it can be like this. To be called, this could be the front, and then that goes up, the arm goes up, or you can have it on this side, so the arm is on the right side. I'm going to just do it. Let's see, I'm going to use this. I'm going to glue, and again, because this is just a very, very narrow bit to apply glue to, I'm trusting the ability of paper gluing itself nicely to other paper without having to have a lot of glue. And I'm going to put in a little bit, kind of focusing on putting it on the inside and dragging it out. This is the only support. I tried making those little teethy marks on, like I did for the base, but they don't work very nicely, and you get kind of square indents. I'm just using a lot more here without using too much, because remember, we don't want a lot of glue on the outside, but the trim will hide some of it, which is why I've chosen to do this setup, because now I can put the trim right up against it, and it will cover the glue. When I did these, I put the trim while it was still flat, so the glue would show. But I decided that this might be a better way. Each time I do something, I like to improve upon it. And gosh, if you find your own system, your own method to improve upon this, yeah. And don't forget to share. Okay, so that glued in nicely. You can always go back in there and add a couple of touches of glue onto the inside, because no one's going to see the inside except for the parcels and the cards you're going to get. So there you go. And now the door, there's a little bit of a stray. Oh yeah, I sand paper, especially if it has glue on it. So this is going to be the front, or the door that's going to be sitting here, and it's going to just need glue on this lip, and you stick it down, center it, and boom, there it is. Now when you're cutting this on a Cricut or any other cutter with an SVG file, it should be pretty accurate. If you have to cut it by hand, it's a little bit more work, and you know, you need to do as precise as you can. And now you can also type in or have little letters for your name on there, numbers, your house number, all kinds of things you can do with this. And now we're ready to do the detailing before we do the bottom. I still have that in here. We'll do that. Especially now, it's kind of important because it's going to have to bend. And I was getting used to the bigger, oops. Okay, it's gonna go right on there. And I'm doing it in gold. Just thought it was kind of fun. You sort of have a guide And especially at the bottom, you need to put a bit more. Okay. Start at the very bottom and you work your way. And now you can put the thinner one on top for additional detail. It's up to you how much or how little you use. And now for this one, you will need to put the glue onto it because otherwise it will do damage to your nice shiny surface. I give you a little bit extra length so that you have a little bit to, oops, sorry. Okay, so we're going to center this on to the first one. You might want to, as I'm thinking about it, you might want to glue the two together on a flat surface and then then put them on. I'm going to do that on the other side and see if it helps. So I'm going to apply both of these together. That's what I said I was going to do. I'm going to put glue on the one, on the narrow one, and put it onto the center. And so now that you've got the trim, both trims together, might be better. Trim this down at the very bottom, because I did give you a little bit extra. Okay, now you have a choice. I give you other trimming parts. And let it go center. Do the other one. Not really happy with this, so I would avoid it unless you're very patient to sit there and try to glue it, which is what I did with this one. Took a little bit of work to get that done. Or if you have very light construction paper, because cardstock is not really doing a good job at bending. I mean, I can give it a try. I don't like to call it quits. Just very rarely that I call it quits. I just keep on trying and trying. As you can see, the glue just didn't even want to hold it. And it sat in that tube for a while. I'm gonna give that another go, but my suggestion to you is use your brand new, all improved straws. They are, or if you have some plastic straws will work too, but it won't adhere as nicely. It'll give you a little bit of trouble. And these are easy to cut. Now, I'm going to give you another tip on cutting these. To cut, because when you're cutting a hollow like this, the blade will go through and it will smoosh it. So put it into a tube, preferably one that will go all the way through. Let me see if I have one here that might go all the way through where I need it to cut. Okay, that might not be, no, maybe not enough. Okay. Here we go. You must have one of these. There you go. Or here you go. This is a nice dowel that you can cut and glue as well. Okay, so I measured it, and it was yay big. Even the sizing doesn't have to be as tall. It can even be taller. It depends on where you are in your house. And now you'll take your trusty blade. I always use the big guys. And you're going to cut on it like this, a little bit around. And because there's something inside, it will not allow it to bend. I do need to go deeper. And don't do it as quickly as I am, so that you're a little bit more careful, have more control. And at the bottom, if it's a little bit rough, something that's flat. And I'm sorry about the black now. And so now you have it. You can get a few mailboxes out of one strap. All right, so now we're going to, it's dry, we're going to glue onto the bottom of the doll, pardon me. You know, I had another little circle here that was specific for this. It's kind of a base, but it seems to have disappeared. So we're just going to glue it, tight bond here, and just like the, so I'm just going to glue it. Now, if you want a little round base, I'll include it. I thought I had one there. It looks like I did. I may have just sprung it out of the mat. Make sure you put a lot of glue again on the inside, because when it's drying, it'll drip down and it will give it more surface. And so here's this one finished, as you've seen before, and this is the one we just did. I have added 8 Victoria, as that is the address of my Garfield, the Victoria, number 8. Thanks for watching. Not quite sure what I'm going to be doing next, but there's lots coming up. So once again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon. Bye for now.